Welcome, Elvis fans and rock and roll enthusiasts. Today, we have a story that will send shivers down your spine. Imagine this. Elvis Presley, the king of rock and roll, had an encounter with a ghost that left everyone stunned. Yes, you heard that right. In this video, we're going to dive into the eerie night when Elvis sang to a ghost, a story told by his loyal maid, Nancy Rooks. This isn't just any ghost story. It's a chilling tale that blends the mystique of Graceland with the unexplainable and the supernatural. So, buckle up and stay tuned, because what happened next is truly spine-tingling, and you won't want to miss a second of it. Number 6. Setting the scene. Graceland, the iconic mansion that Elvis Presley called home, is a place of both grandiosity and mysterious charm. Nestled in Memphis, Tennessee, this stately residence is more than just a home. It is a symbol of Elvis's larger-than-life persona and his enduring legacy. With its opulent rooms, sprawling grounds, and distinctive Southern architecture, Graceland stands as a testament to the king's success and his eclectic style. Visitors are often struck by the mansion's grandeur, from the lavishly decorated jungle room to the serene meditation garden. Yet, beyond the glitz and glamour, Graceland holds secrets and stories that have intrigued fans and visitors for decades. The walls of this mansion have witnessed the highs and lows of Elvis's life, and perhaps even something beyond our world. Amidst the grand halls and hidden corners of Graceland, one person who knew its secrets intimately was Nancy Rooks, Elvis's trusted maid. Nancy was more than just a housekeeper. She was a confidant and a loyal member of the Graceland family, privy to the intimate and often extraordinary moments of Elvis's life. Her role extended beyond daily chores. She shared in the joys and sorrows of the Presley household. On one particularly eerie night, Nancy witnessed an event that was as bizarre as it was unforgettable. She found herself at the heart of a spine-chilling encounter, a night when the boundaries between the earthly and the supernatural seemed to blur. Nancy's first-hand account of this ghostly experience adds a layer of mystery and intrigue to the already enigmatic allure of Graceland, making it a story that fans and believers in the paranormal alike cannot ignore. Number 5. The Eerie Night. According to Nancy, it was a typical quiet night at Graceland. The mansion, usually bustling with activity and visitors, had settled into a peaceful stillness. The staff had finished their duties, and a serene calm enveloped the grand halls and lavish rooms. The night air outside was cool, and the stars above Memphis twinkled softly, casting a gentle glow over the sprawling estate. Inside, the ambiance was tranquil, with only the occasional rustle of leaves and the distant hum of the city breaking the silence. The opulent rooms, adorned with Elvis's personal touches, stood in a quiet grandeur, each corner of the mansion holding a piece of the king's life and legacy. It was a night like many others, unremarkable in its calm, yet it would soon become one of the most unforgettable nights Nancy had ever experienced. Elvis, known for his vibrant and energetic performances, was in a contemplative mood. Seated in one of his favorite rooms, he gently strummed his guitar, the mellow chords filling the air with a soothing melody. His voice, usually powerful and commanding on stage, was soft and introspective as he sang quietly to himself. This side of Elvis, reflective and serene, was one that few got to witness. The dim light cast a warm glow around him, highlighting his deep connection to the music he created. As he lost himself in the gentle rhythm and the heartfelt lyrics, there was a sense of intimacy and vulnerability in his demeanor. The atmosphere was thick with emotion, as if Elvis was channeling his deepest thoughts and feelings through his music. It was in this tranquil setting, with Elvis's soulful music providing a poignant backdrop, that the extraordinary events of the night began to unfold. Number 4. The Mysterious Presence. As the night progressed, Nancy noticed an unusual chill in the air that was different from the typical coolness of the evening. This was a sudden, penetrating cold that seemed to seep into her very bones, sending an involuntary shiver down her spine. The temperature in the room felt as if it had dropped several degrees, an eerie contrast to the warmth that usually emanated from the grand mansion. Along with the chill came an inexplicable feeling of being watched, an unsettling sensation that made the hairs on the back of her neck stand on end. Nancy couldn't shake the feeling that there was someone, or something, else present in the room with them, an unseen observer hidden in the shadows. The room, which had moments before been a sanctuary of calm, now felt charged with an almost tangible tension. Elvis, deeply immersed in his music, suddenly stopped playing. The abrupt silence was startling, as if the very air had been sucked out of the room. His gaze shifted away from his guitar and fixed on a dark corner of the room, his eyes widening slightly as if he was seeing something or someone hidden from Nancy's view. His normally composed expression was replaced by one of curiosity and slight apprehension, a look that conveyed he was sensing the same mysterious presence that Nancy felt. Elvis's demeanor changed from calm and introspective to alert and focused, his body tense as he continued to stare intently into the shadows. It was as if he was silently communicating with the unseen entity, acknowledging its presence with an almost knowing look. The room, filled with an eerie stillness, seemed to hold its breath in anticipation of what might happen next, leaving Nancy frozen in a mix of fear and fascination. Number 3. The ghostly encounter. Without hesitation, Elvis began to sing a soulful melody, his voice resonating through the room with a haunting beauty that seemed to transcend the physical world. The song he chose was one filled with deep emotion, each note carrying a weight of longing and connection. It was as if he was performing not for an audience of adoring fans, but for the unseen presence that had captivated his attention. His voice, usually a powerful force on stage, was now tender and intimate, weaving a spellbinding tapestry of sound that wrapped around the room. The melody flowed effortlessly from his heart, each chord and lyric a bridge to the mysterious entity that lingered in the shadows. There was an almost sacred quality to the moment, as though Elvis was reaching out across a divide between the living and the spiritual, his music serving as the conduit. Nancy described the moment as surreal, a scene that felt both dreamlike and profoundly real. She watched in awe as Elvis became fully engrossed in the song, his entire being focused on the empty space before him. His eyes, usually vibrant and full of life, were now intense and unblinking, locked onto the dark corner where the ghostly presence seemed to dwell. It was as if he could see something that was invisible to everyone else, his gaze unwavering and filled with an unspoken understanding. The atmosphere in the room was charged with an almost palpable energy, a blend of the ethereal and the extraordinary. Nancy felt like she was witnessing a private conversation between Elvis and the spectral visitor, conducted through the universal language of music. The boundaries between reality and the supernatural seemed to blur, leaving her mesmerized and unable to look away. It was a moment that defied explanation, a glimpse into a side of Elvis that was deeply spiritual and profoundly connected to the unseen mysteries of the world. Number 2. What happened next? As Elvis finished the song, the room, which had been enveloped in a surreal, almost otherworldly atmosphere, began to transform. The once chilling air gradually grew warmer, as if a comforting presence was now filling the space where the eerie cold had been. The oppressive feeling of being watched lifted, replaced by a sense of tranquility that seemed to flow from the very walls of Graceland. The mysterious tension that had gripped the room slowly dissipated, leaving behind a serene stillness. It was as though the music had soothed whatever spirit had been present, bringing peace to both the living and the spectral realms. Nancy could feel the shift, the palpable change in the energy around them, and she let out a breath she hadn't realized she was holding. The song, with its haunting beauty and profound emotion, seemed to have bridged a gap between two worlds, bringing a sense of resolution to the uncanny encounter. Elvis appeared calm and at peace, his earlier tension melting away as he set his guitar aside. His demeanor was one of quiet confidence and serenity, as if he had just completed a significant, though unspoken, communication. There was a gentle smile on his lips, and his eyes, which had been so intensely focused moments before, now held a soft, knowing light. It was as if he knew the spirit that had visited, understood its presence, and had connected with it in a deeply personal way. Nancy observed Elvis with a mix of awe and curiosity, struck by the profound calm that radiated from him. He seemed untouched by fear or doubt, embodying a sense of acceptance and understanding that transcended the ordinary. To Nancy, it felt as though Elvis had not just sung to a ghost, but had shared a moment of genuine connection with a familiar spirit, leaving him and the room imbued with a sense of peace that lingered long after the music had faded. Number 1. Nancy's reflection. Nancy believed the ghost could have been someone close to Elvis, perhaps his beloved mother Gladys, or a former friend who had passed on. As she reflected on the night's events, Nancy couldn't shake the feeling that the presence Elvis had so serenely acknowledged was not a stranger, but a familiar spirit. Elvis's mother had been the most significant person in his life, a source of unwavering love and support whose loss had deeply affected him. It seemed entirely possible to Nancy that Gladys's spirit could be the one lingering in Graceland, drawn to her son's side by an unbreakable bond. Alternatively, it could have been a friend or a fellow musician who had shared in the highs and lows of Elvis's extraordinary journey. This theory resonated with Nancy as she considered the depth of emotion Elvis poured into his song that night, suggesting a connection that went beyond the living world. Her final words on the matter were filled with conviction. Nancy remained convinced that Elvis had a special connection with the supernatural. She had always sensed a certain mysticism about him, a spiritual depth that set him apart from others. Elvis's life was marked by extraordinary moments and experiences that often seemed to defy explanation, and this encounter was no exception. To Nancy, it was clear that Elvis possessed an innate ability to bridge the gap between the physical and the spiritual realms, an ability that had allowed him to connect with the ghostly presence that night. She felt privileged to have witnessed such a profound and intimate moment, one that reaffirmed her belief in the mysteries of the universe and Elvis's unique place within them. For Nancy, this eerie yet beautiful experience was a testament to the enduring bonds of love and friendship that transcend even death, and to the extraordinary man who was able to perceive and honor those connections with his soulful music. This spine-chilling story reveals another side of Elvis, one that's deeply spiritual and mysterious, adding yet another layer to the complex persona of the king of rock and roll. It's a tale that showcases not just his musical genius, but also his profound connection to the unseen, the supernatural, and the deeply personal. Elvis's ability to bridge the gap between the earthly and the ethereal through his music paints a picture of a man who was in tune with forces beyond the ordinary. This extraordinary encounter at Graceland, witnessed by his trusted maid Nancy Rooks, leaves us pondering the mysteries of life, death, and the bonds that transcend them. What do you think about this eerie encounter? Do you believe in the possibility of such supernatural connections? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more amazing stories about the king of rock and roll. Your engagement helps us keep the legacy of Elvis Presley alive, bringing you closer to the legend through tales that continue to inspire and intrigue.